So let me just quickly take you to the stuff, what is that we have, the topics that we are supposed to cover. This you are all familiar of it, but as a fundamental rule, let me just highlight the index of our course content. So it's all that we begin with the testing process, the basic testing process, wherein we are going to discuss something on the test planning, monitoring, control, analysis, design, implementation, execution, reporting, and closure activities. So basically, when you try to see the number of questions that can be asked from this basic testing process, it will be almost the 13 mandatory questions that you can expect from the chapter 1. So as you are aware of how many questions that can be asked, it is basically we need to go for 65 questions and we need to get at least 115 marks. We need to get at least 115 marks to pass and get the certification, right? And when you try to see the type of questions and the number of questions asked from each chapter, basically our test manager content is divided into 6 chapters. So the basic testing process is the first chapter wherein we try to face 13 questions. And the test management is a huge, the complete management information that we try to cover in this chapter 2. We generally try to face almost 24 mandatory scenario-based questions asked from this second chapter. And going for the third chapter, the reviews and all that, we try to at least see 6 mandatory questions from it. And when we try to go for the fourth chapter, which is defect management, this is basically we try to see minimum 4 to 5 questions. And we have the chapter 5, which is called as improving the testing process, wherein you may expect, you will definitely expect 1 mandatory, or maybe you can see 1 or 2 more questions that are added to that particular testing process improvement. And finally, we have the test tools and automation, which is a chapter 6. You can definitely expect 3 to 4 mandatory questions, or in maybe you can expect 1 or 2 added from it. So basically, the very first important criteria to click to the certification questions is putting the number of effort, putting the amount of efforts based on the number of questions that can be asked in the examination. Now, there is no point in putting large efforts when you only try to see 1 mandatory questions or 4 mandatory questions from those chapters, right? So the efforts have to match with the number of questions asked for. So that is the major criteria, so that it will definitely fetch you the required marks to get the passing score. So this being considered, we try to even put the same amount of effort from these chapters. So when you try to see these questions now asked for, the majority of the questions that are asked is from the first 2 chapters. If you can see my Word document on your screen, or if you are trying to hear me, the number of questions asked from the total 6 chapters, basically the first 2 chapters are being asked more rather than compared with the last 4 chapters. So total 13 plus 24, you will try to face minimum 37 questions from only the first 2 chapters. So obviously our efforts, our focus, our implementation in trying to fetch the passing score, we need to definitely put some extra efforts on these first 2 chapters, right? So this is very important from the certification point of view. So since I have already tried to highlight what are those different topics: testing process, test management, reviews, defect management, improving the process, test tool and automation, and finally the people skills is also added to our advanced level test manager, because being a test manager, trying to manage the testing team and trying to fit the team within the organization, motivating them, communicating with them to make the work done is very important for a test manager. So obviously, people skills matters a lot for the management process. So these are the 6 different chapters, and I have highlighted the number of questions that will be asked. So based with this consideration, let's move ahead with our topics. Okay. So anything which you have to let me know, please make sure you try to highlight me so that I can pause for a while and try to go for the explanation. Yes, the documents will be shared from the organization. So I will be sharing these documents with them. They will share accordingly to you. Okay, the presentations and whatever the information that I can share with you. Okay. So any doubts, anything, please let me know to the chat. I will try to give the clarification as much as possible. Okay. So let's begin with. Now, when you try to compare with the foundation level and the advanced level, there is some difference or deviation in which the advanced process or the advanced activities that will be taken into consideration. For example, we all know the fundamental software testing process. It's a basic things that we generally know. Whenever somebody asks you what is the HPLC cycle or HPLC process, we always have the answers and the tip of our fingers. We say it begin with planning and control, analysis, goes to analysis and design, goes for implementation, execution, and then finally evaluate the exit criteria to close the activities and do the reporting, and finally close the test closure activities. So basically, when you try to see the difference between the foundation and the advanced level, some of the activities which are highlighted as a combined process in the fundamental are separated. For example, when you talk about test analysis and design, in the fundamental process, it is a combined topic, where if you try to go for a advanced level, the analysis and the design are separated, and we try to learn or consider this as a separate activities, and we try to go for understanding these two different activities. Similarly, when you talk about test implementation and execution, this is again a combined activity in the fundamental process, but in advanced level, we try to separate them, and we try to exclusively try to understand what exactly is the implementation and what exactly is the execution, and what is the test manager role in this implementation and the execution. Okay. So this way, some of the activities are being separated in the advanced level syllabus, which is really important. Now,